Gatekeeping a franchise or part of a franchise is weird.
I can understand doing it to get rid of toxic members of the fanbase who are either spreading hate through it or bullying people involved in the making of the projects within the franchise. Spreading hate or bullying people involved with projects is never okay.
But deciding that someone isn't a valid member of the fandom due to a different opinion,
Or
someone has to be a certain level of fan to be allowed to be in the fandom is weird. Don't get me wrong, when people dislike a movie or TV show in a franchise that I liked, it bothers me a little bit, but I wouldn't demand that they leave the fandom.
not at all.
A lot of the fandoms that I'm a fan of used to be very obscure, once considered to be geeky and uncool to be a fan of. I for one am glad now that a lot of the franchises that I'm a fan of are now so popular that I can talk about them in public without people giving me a look like I'm screaming about pudding.
I mean, there's still people like that, but very few in this day and age. Everyone and their mum have seen some form of geeky franchise at some point or another.
Also, another bonus is you get more content from that franchise.
They're basically a win-win.
Yes, sure, sometimes I wasn't exactly screaming for new content in some franchises that I'm a fan of, but I'm still glad that they exist, because even if I don't actually like them, someone out there somewhere was probably screaming for more content in that franchise. As I don't speak for the fandom any more than anyone else does. I speak for myself, but no one else.
I mean, if there's any new content in a franchise I don't like,
I can just ignore it, or enjoy the stuff that I do. Just because I don't like it, doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. The whole cliche of one version of the franchise isn't as valid as another version of the franchise because I don't personally like it is ridiculous to me. Especially with stuff like comic books. I like versions of comics or movie or TV adaptations more than others, but I don't turn around and say, you can't like this other version because I don't like it as much. At the same time, I'll call out someone if they're using the version they prefer to bash another version, because usually the intention behind things like that is to troll, upset, or just discredit a version they don't like, which they're allowed to like or dislike a version, but deciding that someone else's version isn't as good because they don't like it
is an entirely different thing.
So the next time you try and gatekeep a franchise, please think about this. Are you trying to stop people spreading hate through the franchise who are toxic? Or are you just trying to stop someone who has a different opinion than you from being a fan of something that you have no, and I repeat, no control over who can and can't be a fan of, based purely on your own personal opinion? That's just some food for thought, I guess.